The E.S.S. Wellington, An Interstellar Tale by J.N. Wdowski. Chapter 17, Preparation, 38 hours later. The Wellington was docked with the E.S. Bridgeport. Two sealed gangways connected the two ships as they jointly orbited the large pink and light blue striped gas giant. The White Chin and Yellow Chin Rogers had been separately transferred to two different fast attack destroyers. Both ships had already made their first jumps back towards the human colony on Tester 3. The storage bays they had been housed in were being resupplied from the stores of the Bridgeport. The Bridgeport's maintenance teams had already sealed the damage to the Wellington's starboard hull and were making minor needed repairs and updates throughout the ship. The E.S.S. Checkmate came alongside them and launched the Admiral's yacht. Mueller was standing at the starboard airlock to greet Admiral Ford once he disembarked from his yacht. Basilone and 10 of his fleet troopers stood at attention, along with Commander Frost, Lieutenant Commander Novikov, and Dr. Kumar. They all stood at attention and saluted as Admiral Ford came aboard, with 2 of his Imperial Golgar guards behind him. Both the Golgars wore sunglasses to protect their sensitive eyes from the bright lights of the corridor. "Welcome aboard the Wellington, Admiral." Mueller held his salute. Ford returned his salute. "At ease, gentlemen, and Doctor. I think you will be pleased with the repairs that have been made. According to my chief engineer, the updates will be finished soon." Mueller led the Admiral down the corridor to the officers' mess. Basilone dismissed his troopers and followed Mueller and the Admiral along with Frost, Novikov, and Kumar. Entering the mess on the port side of the ship, they had a view of the Bridgeport alongside them. Mueller gestured for the Admiral to sit at one end of the table. He sat at the opposite end. The 2 Golgars remained at attention behind the Admiral. The others sat on the 2 sides of the table. 2 service bots brought out a roasted 6-legged turtle from Clancy III. "Something we picked up from the Amundsen base. I think you will enjoy it." Mueller looked up at the 2 Imperial guards behind the Admiral. "Would they like to eat?" "There is plenty." Admiral Ford turned to them and spoke from his throat. "Gugant ger fung." Both the guards looked down at the roasted Clancy III creature and then looked at each other. Their long, thin tongues emerged and licked their lips. They then turned to the Admiral and nodded in agreement. Ford pointed to a second table in the officers' mess. "Grit." The 2 went and sat at the table as a servant bot brought out a second roasted animal for them and placed it on the table between them. They devoured the animal as if they both had not eaten for days. "I guess they were hungry," Dr. Kumar noted. Ford looked at her. "It is their way." Leaving only the bones and shell on the large platter, the Golgar guards licked their lips again. They gently wiped their mouths with the cloth napkins given to them. Satisfied, they returned to standing at attention behind Admiral Ford. Both of the guards looked at Mueller. "Grank goo." "They say thank you," Ford translated. Mueller looked at the remains of the 6-legged turtle on the other table, and then back at the roasted animal on the center of their table that had not yet been touched. "They are most welcome. Would they like more?" "That is very kind of you, Captain. But they are satisfied, for now." Ford picked up a knife and fork. "I'm looking forward to trying this." He looked at the roasted beast in the center of the table. 1 hour later, the service bots cleared the table and brought out cups of tea and coffee for those that requested it, along with 2 platters of finger cookies baked by the ship's chef. Adding cream to his coffee, Admiral Ford used a teaspoon to stir his cup before taking a sip. "This is very good coffee, Captain. I'm glad you enjoy it. It is not the standard freeze-dried coffee that is issued. It is my personal supply of lightly roasted Colombian beans. I have the officer's mess chef grind them for each pot." Mueller added cream to his cup. The others also enjoyed the coffee, although Dr. Kumar and Novikov chose tea. They both added honey to their cups. Only Dr. Kumar added cream to hers. "For a deep space, Alexander class, you are very hospitable, and offering some of the comforts of home." The Admiral raised his coffee cup to his host. "It helps for long missions, without protocols for months," Mueller explained. "Amazing how the little things can help morale on deep space missions." "Speaking of morale, how many of your crew has volunteered for this mission?" Ford inquired. "How many will you need from the fleet to replace them?" "I am proud to report that all my senior and junior officers have volunteered. Mueller looked pleased with his officers at the table. All my fleet troopers have chosen to stay on board the Wellington, reported Captain Basilone. Of my medical team, only 2 of my nurses have requested to be transferred. Dr. Kumar answered, my science department and engineering will need to replace 4. Novikov took a sip of his tea. As for the rest of the crew, 15 have not volunteered. The Wellington's XO responded. That is a lot less than I thought it would be. My compliments to you, Captain Mueller. Ford smiled slightly. It is a great reflection on your leadership. Thank you for thinking so, Admiral. Ford drank more of his coffee and reached for a finger cookie. Taking a bite of the cookie, he chuckled slightly. Something wrong with the cookie? Mueller asked. No, the cookie is delicious. I was just thinking that your crewmen and women that have chosen not to join you on this mission, they will not be as safe as they think they will be. Admiral, Dr. Kumar was confused. What do you mean? Ford turned to her. Doctor, if you fail on your mission, no one in this fleet will be safe. We are no match to the Holdens. If the Wellington is destroyed and they joined you, they would have died with all of you. Yet, in that case, by them choosing not to join you on this mission, they will merely be buying themselves a reprieve of what? A handful of days? If you fail, Doctor, we will evacuate Clancy 3, return to Tester 3, and attempt to defend it with the 10th Fleet, and we will fail. He grinned. Ironic, isn't it? The table went silent. Everyone put down their cups. Not a sound was heard. Only Admiral Ford continued to enjoy his coffee. Yet, if you do succeed and are not destroyed, they will be safe either way. Both fleets and the tester colony will all be spared from certain annihilation. So we need to succeed. Mueller picked up his cup. Yes, Captain, you do. The Admiral gestured to the service bot for a refill. The machine returned with the pot of coffee and, without spilling a drop, filled the Admiral's cup, leaving just enough space for him to add cream. Admiral Ford unnecessarily thanked the mechanical device. He then addressed Dr. Kumar and Novikov. On a more pleasant note, I want to acknowledge both of you for your accomplishments in the discovery of the Rogers growth hormone. Along with the Rogers, we have sent your test results on the destroyers back to a full research lab at the tester colony. Well done to both of you. Thank you, Admiral, they replied before grinning at each other. Ford glanced at his guards behind him. Perhaps your discovery will have us living as long and as healthy as the Golgars. What of the Momvols? Dr. Kumar changed the subject. What of them, Doctor? Will we be sending ships to evacuate them from their dying world and relocate them? Well, Doctor, that depends. Admiral Ford drank his coffee. Depends? We now have the spooky comm linked to their entangled atom communicator. So far, they have not requested our assistance. The second thing. He took 2 more cookies and handed one to each of his guards. The cookies disappeared in a flash before they both bowed their heads slightly to Ford. Grank goo. Would they like coffee or tea with those? Mueller asked. Gresser. They both seemed to understand Mueller. They would. Golgars are greatly fond of coffee and tea, Ford replied. If you read my grandfather's journals, it was the first commodities they were most interested in trading with us. Mueller signaled to the service bot to bring coffee for the 2 guards. As the machine handed them cups and saucers with black coffee, the aliens slung their pulse rifles on their shoulders before taking the cups. Grank, go! They thanked the machine. The second thing, Dr. Kumar reminded the Admiral. The second thing is, if the Holdens will allow us to send an armada of transport ships to a system so close to theirs, even if only on a humanitarian mission. We have no idea if they will see it as a threat. Third, we would need to convert enough transports to match their very different environment. Since the Momvols have not yet contacted us, we have no idea how many souls we would be transporting. Is Starforce Command willing to find them a world if they do request our help? Mueller asked. Yes, Captain. That request has already gone up the chain of command, and they have agreed. We have several worlds in our domain they could easily settle on, Ford responded. It merely depends on them, the Holdens, and our ability to convert enough ships. My biggest concern is the Holdens. He handed 2 more cookies to his Imperial guards. Them not seeing our move on the Momville system as a threat really depends on you, Captain Mueller. No pressure, Mueller thought to himself. Be sure to continue to Chapter 18, Step Back.
To support the author, please like, share, comment, and subscribe.